It's about the same. We can use the same information. So I actually printed it out today, because I said that I'm gonna go through it. And so you put different areas you want, so I printed it out, but like this one has, do not call.
Okay.
So I can send him a letter. And I was like, well, I need to close some deals, I need to make
Thankfully, Obama passed that law. Or you guys know about the DACA law? Yeah. Yeah, that's how I have my real estate license. Otherwise, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be maybe doing real estate, but under somebody else's license. But anyway, guys, you guys want to see the listing I got? Real quick? All right. And it'll tie into this presentation somehow. So I was doing an open house in Inglewood earlier this year. Um, and a lady came in, her name was Joyce, her name is Joyce. And she wanted to buy the complex, the duplex. She didn't qualify, but she referred me to her other friend, Marcenia, who was also interested in buying the duplex. And turns out Marcenia is a pretty productive businesswoman. She didn't buy the duplex, but she started telling me about her other business ventures, and she told me she bought this building in Inglewood. It's like 7 commercial units, and it's like this big corner. And she was telling me that they were just about to buy it. They just finished closing escrow, and now they want to find just cool tenants for the building. So I shared with her what I was doing in the building I showed you guys in Redondo. Remember I showed you guys that one yesterday? And then and she was like, okay, well, I want you to come do the same here. So it's like this whole building here, like this whole triangle.
Hello? Erick,
Hello.
can you share the screen? I cannot see anything.
Hi, Alicia. I got you. No problem. 1 second.
Thank you.
Share. Okay. So yeah, there's a restaurant right now called Mr. Friesman. See, who said they're familiar with their building? You know the building? Oh, okay, gotcha. Right, Chris, from the Vons right here. Yeah, so pretty much they bought the building, and they want to create like a total like vibe down here of like entertainment and food. Pretty much. They're saying that the city of Inglewood is really pushing that right now because of the Olympics coming up. They want somewhere to go people to go hang out like after the games at the stadium. It's pretty close to the stadium. So I'm gonna lease out these 2 units over here and then this corner one here. And they want to find like I told them they need like a brewery down there. I think like a brewery right here because they're trying to make this like a whole little patio vibe. Right here was like a paint and sip kind of business. They're leaving, but something along those lines. But anyway, that's a listing I got today from, I guess, keeping more leads. We'll say it ties into the presentation here somehow. Okay?
Wait, so did they close escrow with you? You said they were closing
No,
escrow?
they bought it with somebody else.
So you're gonna lease
I'm gonna be the leasing agent for the list. Yeah.
for the 7 offices that are within.
Well, the 3 that they want to lease out right now. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's lease listings, commercial lease listings. But I'll take it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I'm gonna get connected to the area. I don't know Inglewood very well, so I'm gonna, put myself in the area and more importantly, create a relationship with this lady. She's
Mhm.
building a house in Lake Elsinore, maybe she wants to sell that in the near future, something like that, so more about just kind of building and keeping the relationships, which I guess I'll tie into our presentation today. All right. Let's see. This zoom out the way. You guys can also see that, right? Keep every lead. I'm gonna talk, I think it's about like follow up and stuff. All right. Lead follow up, keep every lead. Let's do it. What is a lead follow up? How to lead follow up? Post lead follow up, recap on a little schedule. Okay. So yeah, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. The likelihood of somebody moving or doing a real estate transaction, right? We talked about how people do it every 7 to 10 years, but when you find people like the client I just talked about, they're doing stuff all the time, right? So we want to find more of those kind of people, so that way you maximize how many transactions you do. What's this next slide here? Possible business, probable business, profitable business. Okay. Who wants to share what the differences between those three?
I do.
Okay.
So my understanding of this would be that the possibility, when you first get somebody, a lead, they're possible.
Right,
Then, as you convert them, you create a contract with them, they become probable, and then once you create that relationship, then it's profitable.
right. I'd say that's a good way to put it, you know, so let's be an example of like a possible business lead and what makes them probable? A contract,
The relationship and the contract,
right?
yeah.
I'd say so, okay? And, you know, is it possible for a probable opportunity to become just possible again? It could go backwards too. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to read this? I'll close this. Oh, thank you. Any volunteers to read this?
If you aren't first or second in my mind, you probably won't get the business.
That's very true, right?
This is,
I remember we did it in bold, like Jamie, name one tax person. Somebody who does tax,
matters,
huh?
money matters.
Okay, a person, last name.
Who knows last name?
Okay, so what's his first name?
Dana,
Dana, name a second one.
oh, second one.
Exactly, right? So that's the same thing that happens with realtors, right? So who else did bold here? He's bold, right, Cameron? Yeah. So you remember when they talked about that, right? So it's what is you guys seen that movie Talladega Nights? Being first, your last, right? So yeah, I think that's true. You know, how do we take up that mind share and make sure that we're the first person that comes to mind when they think of real estate? You know, we talked a lot about that yesterday. Any ahas? We kind of went through that pretty quickly. No? Let's move on. How to lead follow-up. There's a lot of ways to lead follow-up. Okay. So how are you guys currently following up with your leads? What kind of system do you guys have in place or planned out?
Social media?
Social media? Okay, who said that? Okay, gotcha. So what do you mean by that?
Keeping all the leads into my business account and on daily basis, I'm posting something so that there's a reminder that I'm still active in that.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. What else are you guys gonna follow up?
Phone,
Phone?
contacting them on the phone,
Call them directly?
yeah.
Okay, okay,
Texting.
texting, right? There's only a few ways, right? There's only a handful of ways you can really stay in touch with somebody. What would that be? Phone, texting, email, social media.
You can send them a card.
Send them some postage, something physical, right? So right here, they're recommending a system to do 4 quarterly phone touches, 12 touches every month by email, 2 touches or direct, 1 annual event, and then 36 touches a year. So the thing is, like, how do you do all this without going crazy? Right? You gotta
Eric, can you share the slide? We cannot see any slide here.
Oh, you still can't see it? Sorry. Let me see. I'm just gonna share the whole screen. There you go.
Thank you.
So, no problem. Thank you. So how do we, has anybody tapped into Command in a crazy way where they're able to automate all this stuff?
No,
Eric, yeah,
You can make a smart plan.
a smart plan, right? That's what that is? Yeah, I use something similar, Go High Level called, it's just called automation. But how has that worked out for you, Eric? I mean, you've seen like, does the flow work well? Do people like it?
Yeah,
Yeah?
they do, and then you see them looking at things in Command, you can call them with more pinpoint.
Right,
questions.
right.
Questions.
Right, kind of like I was showing you guys yesterday on the system that I use. You see what they're doing, you see what they're looking at, so it gives you a reason to talk to them, right? So this is a recommended way to do it. You could probably build it out through Command. So 19 to connect. So right, you got to build a relationship with them first, whether that's online or through the computer or the events, and then you cement it. We're gonna go more further into this one, okay? Where's streams moving up there? Okay, so you just gotta have something I learned too is like, every time you follow up, you gotta give them a piece of value, right? Don't follow up with just, hey, I'm just here following up. Why not give them a piece of value? Like such as, this property just sold for X amount. Are you curious to know what your property could be worth? Right? So you gotta just look at your strengths. What is the reason you're contacting them? And how am I using these conversations to let the person know I'm in real estate? Right? Just do it like in subtle ways, so that way you don't come across maybe as annoying or as you think you might feel to some people, So your annual 19 to connect touch plan, a birthday card, right? There, we talked about all that. The for market reports, informative videos. Have you guys ever heard of Bomb Bomb? No? There's a system called Bomb Bomb. I was getting them with this lender that I was working with. Every time like we would get something happen, they would send us a little email and it had a video. It was actually a little image you click and it was a video of the updates of the loan as we were going through it. So, something like that, being able to just automate that kind of stuff. Make an impact, focus on value. Like we said, just focus on value, the personal communication. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like getting spam texts. Like when I get a text message and it's a robot or it's like an automated thing. I don't personally like that. What do you guys feel about that?
I'll block them.
You block them, right?
Just read it.
Would you say it's better to take the time to actually send a text message?
Yeah.
Right, if you're really trying to do something with this person, right?
Well, yeah, you gotta figure what you like. I don't like getting spam, I'm not gonna send.
Right.
If I get hold of you, I'm gonna have something to say.
Exactly. Yeah, and for a long time, guys, I was really obsessed with creating an automated system like, pre-sending a text message that will text them in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and then another one a month after, like just kind of pre-setting all that. And I don't know if what they want me to teach, but I kind of realized that people don't like that. People don't like getting a random text of something you pre-created that's obviously like automated. I think the personal touch is always better. And this is like me, somebody who's super into technology, saying that, right? So I think it's better to take the time to actually do something personal as long as it's providing value. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. I think sometimes they create all this tech and all this stuff that's like super fancy and captivating and makes you feel like you're doing something, but I think nothing beats the personal touch. Like AI, right? There's a lot more AI stuff going on. I think and at some point it became like hard to distinguish whether it's real person or AI. But I think at the end of the day, we're still gonna know, and be able to tell if somebody's being for real or not. Okay. So potential lead sources, calls in, calls out. You could purchase leads. Anybody ever like spend money on Zillow or something like that? Those kind of leads that you buy? No? Yeah, me either.
They're expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive,
Yeah.
And well, I was on a team once where the team leader did do that. And they wouldn't really, like it's the same lead being sold to like 20 realtors.
Yeah.
And then you're paying and they're making money 20 times over on the same contact information. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to try something like that. It's just going to be really expensive. But there's a lot of ways to get leads, guys. And we talked a lot about this yesterday. Open houses, community events. What do you think is like been your guys' best way to get leads so far? I mean, you guys have been doing like 10 touches a day, right? What do you guys think is like the best way so far for you?
Cold calling,
Cold calling, okay. What kind of cold calling are you doing?
a list of absentee.
Okay,
Landlords.
okay, cool. What's your script kind of sound like? What are you pitching to?
My script.
Yeah.
I just tell them that, that I'm a local realtor, Keller Williams and Palos Verdes, and I was just telling him that they have a hot neighborhood
Okay,
and buyers interested in the neighborhood. And
Okay.
ask them if they would consider selling. And then if they say yes, then that's great, and then if they say no, I tell them that houses are going for top dollar and when do they consider selling if they did. And ask them what their price point would be if they had a dream price to move
gotcha,
or where they would go.
Gotcha. Have you like pitched them like a cash offer type of deal, or you feel like that's maybe played out?
I usually just go to set an appointment
Yeah,
and then I go with like a presentation.
right, right. I like that direct approach. I feel like there's a lot of advertising out there right now, we'll buy your house cash. Right? And I think at first it may have been good, but I feel like people are maybe not catching on to like, if, you know, you're selling it to an investor who's gonna try to flip it, you know? I like the direct approach. I'm a realtor, I'll list your property, I'll get it sold for top dollar, you know? I like that too. And I've been switching that up with my expireds. The script I'm using lately is like, when are you interviewing agents for the position of selling the property? You know, it didn't sell, you didn't have a success with your current realtor. When can I apply for the position, right? So, you know, you just want to asking great questions is really what it is, right? So Eric, like if somebody says, yes, I do want to do something, what's kind of like one of the first questions you ask them?
I ask them, if they say yes.
Yeah,
I ask them, what price they want, where they would move, why they're moving,
yeah,
what's their motivation for moving,
motivation, right? That's the key. Yeah,
and what their time frame is.
yeah,
And then I tell them I'm available to come by and look around and then get the exact value.
right.
And I give them two choices,
Okay,
Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning.
right, right. Yeah, because if we go, when is your next available time? They're gonna, you know, they have too many options. They're not gonna pick anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys definitely want to be asking the right questions. I mean, it's all about the motivation, you know, and then taking it from there. I feel like it's a lot of the stuff we talked about yesterday. Any ahas, anything you guys want to share? Interesting. Nothing. All right. Post lead follow-up. What's this about? When the two-way communication is established, the lead becomes a contact in your database. Move the person from 19 to connect to 36 to convert. Cement the relationship. So obviously they have a plan for you that they want you to follow. You know, I'm sure it's worked. What's interesting is like, do you guys think like top realtors actually do this stuff? Or they just kind of staying in touch with their people the best way
They
possible? Huh?
They have,
They probably have at one point, right?
everybody has at one point, you gotta start at the bottom, you gotta work your way up.
Right, right.
That's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah,
Okay.
to create business without having to generate so much money, to spend so much money on marketing and.
Yeah. See, like, 'cause let me show you guys something. Back to my Canva. And I don't know if I'm going on the right path by showing you guys this. But I'm just gonna be honest.
Do you send out postcards?
No, I don't. I was telling them yesterday that, well, you know what, I guess I do. So when I get a listing, I distribute 1,000 postcards in the area to promote, like, say, the first open house. And I'll show you guys what that marketing piece looks like, right? But, I was gonna show you guys some stuff that I was really into a couple years ago, where I was trying to create like the most like planned out years worth of follow-up, automated follow-up for all my leads. And I dropped the whole idea. I
I'm gonna ask you, do you pay for Canva or does the office pay for it?
pay for it myself.
I was gonna ask that because my free Canva looks so different.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
The free Canva is horrible.
I pay like,
You don't recommend it?
I mean, you can use it, I use it for little things, but I think, and I got a little tiny subscription. And it is so much better, and so I'm looking at it, I was like, oh, yeah.
How much do you pay for this?
like $14 a month,
That's not bad.
a lunch, you know what I mean? So like, I think it's worth every dollar. I've been using Canva for years now, but I'm trying to take you guys up to like, I used to be super obsessed with just creating like a crazy automated follow-up marketing plan. And I just kind of dropped the whole idea, which is what they're trying to tell you here. It's fancy, it sounds great, but I just realized that keeping it simple is just the best way to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Again, maybe I'm not saying the right thing they want me to, but like, Yeah, like you don't have to overcomplicate it, you know? You just gotta put in the work every day, talk to people and give it time and do it over and over and over. Like nowadays, the only automation that I use is Real Scout and HomeBot, which I told you guys about yesterday, right? That's the only two things I use for automation. And I try to get as many people as I can into those systems. Outside of that, it's just, I'm just doing regular communication, hands-on, person-to-person communication. And I don't know if I'm gonna find this. I had a whole chart where I designed this whole year's worth of follow-up. And as you guys can see, I just haven't
You
even
use
touched
Canva
that.
to create flyers,
Everything,
to do, what else do you do with it?
presentations, I create like offer memorandums, you can see all, there's all the stuff I do, business cards, everything, logos. So see it. See, it's not even on here. Yeah, it's not even on here. Anyway, spending too much time on this now. Oh yeah, here, look, there it is. I created like a whole lead generation system that was gonna lead follow-up. This is me like 3 years ago, right? What systems I was gonna use, the CRMs and stuff. And he connected all with Zapier, the cost, da 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 da. And I dropped all that. I spent like 2 years trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? And I was just complicating my life. Maybe Command has a simple way to do it. Eric sounds like he's used it a little more,
With
like the
follow-up.
smart plans and stuff. Like, have you used that very much, or what do you think?
The smart plans, yeah, as soon as I get somebody into like command, I'll set them up in the neighborhood where they live
Yeah,
and then give them the bi-weekly touch, and then it reminds me to give them a call.
like the listings, like it's auto email listings. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
auto email listing,
Okay.
so they'll know what the value is in their house and their neighborhood.
Okay, yeah,
They're not automatically ready to sign up to this.
right. So it's just like the auto listing update. Like it's like the one that you use called Real
Yeah,
Scout.
any new listing that comes up in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
That week or within the 2 weeks,
Yeah,
it sends them an email, just keeping them top of mind.
and I think that's all you need. You know what I mean? So that's why I would again, I don't know if it's what they want me to say, but when I look at this, 19 touches in a year, like da 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 da, like sure, plan it out. But as long as you're like hitting them somewhere, calling them every once in a while.
I think you kind of feel it, right? You kind of see where they're at and how they
Yeah.
respond to calling every
Yeah.
month, 2 months.
Right.
Well, that smart plan, I think is just a generic smart plan that's in there. It's like the 36 touch. plan.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
26 emails automatic plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, is that like the bold where you do that A and the?
Or do D2, B2.
Yes, I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's so, I can't even remember that.
And
A lot.
exactly, like, they gotta fill up these slides with something, right? They got, they gotta put something in that bold book, but at the end of the day, it is very simple, put them in your real
The
stuff.
main thing is follow up and.
Yeah, what I like to do, literally, guys, and I'm not lying to you, right? I don't wanna BS you guys, any week, I'll get like 3 to 5 buyers, new people calling me, right? From my sphere, from Instagram or something, right? I'm just at that point where it's kind of flowing to me, right? I'll save them on my phone. Cameron Torrance buyer, when I get to my computer, I put you on my real estate, I'm sending you Torrance properties. And then I just follow up randomly. I'm just like in my office, I got a few minutes. What happened to that lady Cameron that I spoke to the other day? Let me give her a call, and it's Siri, call Cameron. And I just do it randomly. I mean, maybe I should time block it a couple hours in the evening. Yeah, sometimes I've done that too. Like, okay, let me follow up for an hour, Yeah, like I have a bunch of like 13 vacant lots listed in East LA. And I've had like 100 calls probably on that. And I just save them all, City Terrace, vacant lot buyer. And yeah, last week I sat there for like an hour and I was like, let me call everybody who's inquired. And I just started calling them all up, So it's like, it's no secret sauce. You just gotta do it, So like I said, I just didn't want to BS you guys. This is great. If you guys can pull that off and follow this system to a T, it's cool. but I just wanna help people and get paid, you guys too, right?
People with the KISS theory.
Yeah, well, yeah, kiss, keep it
Keep it
simple.
simple, stupid.
Yeah, exactly, and, yeah, go ahead.
So I have I have the little notebook, I don't have it with me, but I was, doing, door knocking.
Yeah,
And so every person that I talked to that was interested or, kind of like gave me their phone number or they wanted a question answered.
yeah,
I would write it down in this book. And so I gave them each a page. And so every time I would call them, like, oh, they wanted something about a plumber, or they like, oh, do you know such and such about the neighborhood? So I would call them and tell them, and then I wrote it down. And I would say, oh, is it okay if I call you back? And so it was like fine at first, and it kind of like fell off. I don't know how to get back to them,
yeah,
except to call them randomly, like, hey, how's everything going?
right, well, I guess it's just offer a piece of value, what piece of
Okay.
value can you, and that can be anything, right? Like, if you remember that there was a bike in the front yard,
Mhm.
right? Maybe look up the upcoming family-friendly city event.
Mhm.
And that's a piece of, hey, did you know that, they're having a Halloween pumpkin patch at this
Yeah.
park starting this date?
Okay.
By the way,
Mhm.
like, oh, and I'm the realtor that came by, you know what I mean, like. So anything that's like just of genuine value to them, you know what I mean? And if they're not answering and they're blowing you off, then that's fine, find somebody else, you know what I
You
mean?
just move on.
Just move
Yeah.
on, just move
Okay.
on, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like sometimes like, I don't know, you get to the point where you're only spending your time on the leads that are like actually talking back to you, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'm doing something wrong where I like if somebody's not serious right now or in the first few conversations, I put them in my Real Scout or HomeBot and then I just forget about it. I don't know, maybe I should be calling them more, I don't know, but eventually you're only spending time with people who actually want to do some business with you, but while you're building it up, I mean, yeah, call them as much as you can, if you don't have anything much going on, call them as much as you can, or just go find more new ones, you know what I mean? And again, I'm going pretty off script, off the hunch here. Any ahas? Yeah, please do.
So, pretty sure this is correct for everyone. Like a lot of people I encounter, they're like, yeah, it'll be nice to have a house and like, how do you scale how much they're serious about? Like, we'll contact you whenever, or you can send me the information and then obviously you wanna follow up, but then like I said, if
Yeah.
they're not really interested and like serious about buying, then it's just waste of my effort. Like,
Right.
how-
Well, and that's back to like we were talking about like the timing, wanna make sure the timing is right. And how do you make sure you're the person they think of when that timing is right? So you're talking about like a buyer, right, a future buyer?
Yeah.
I like to, like in my conversations with, hey, I wanna keep you updated on these things, I know you're looking at Zillow and Redfin all the time. If when you're able to buy, what city do you wanna buy? What are your top 3 cities you wanna buy, you know? Okay, this and that, okay, how many bed and bath would you like? 3 bed, 2 bath, 2-car garage. Okay, great, let me get your email, let's send you some properties. And then put them in the auto emails. And then you should be able to see their activity in that system, and just whenever you remember, whenever you can. Give them a ring, hey, you been getting the properties I'm sending you, you like any of them, any questions, so just. Touching them as much as you can, and sometimes be like, oh yeah, no, we're still not ready. Okay, that's fine, thank you, let me know when you're ready, follow me on Instagram so you can see all the great videos that I post. It kind of all like just like ties into you, you know what I mean? Like you have to use all your stuff, your website, the emails, the social media, everything to tie into like that person remembering you when they need you know what I mean? But how do you gauge their interest? Is by the amount of actions they take, right? If they're going, yeah, no, I'm not really interested, okay. And it goes back to asking great questions, why are you not so interested? What is your concern? What is your hesitation? I don't think we can afford it. Okay, well, how much can you afford? And look see how that looks, like I say in the role play class sometimes, you have to be like a little bit of a lender sometimes too.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, how much can you afford, oh, this is what I do, like, you want a 3-bed, 2-bed house in Torrance? I'll go on the MLS right now, okay, I see a really nice one, 3-bed, 2-bath, it's a million, 1.1 million. Okay, let me calculate a payment for you real quick on the mortgage calculator. 1.1 million, okay, looks like your payment will be like 6,000 a month, probably more, right? You think you can afford 6,000 a month? And then, oh, no, not really, that's a little high. Okay, well, would you be okay with maybe going to Gardena or Carson or Lawndale? No, I'll probably find you something for 900, your payment's now 5,000, does that sound better? So that's how you can gauge their interest, they're going, no, they're going, no, I want 3,000 a month. Okay, are you okay with going to Moreno Valley, Riverside, Palmdale? No, not really. Okay, then maybe you're just not a real buyer. Maybe you want to be a buyer, everybody wants to buy, but it's just, can they afford it? So asking great questions is the way you gauge their interest, and not being scared to ask those questions. I have a coach and he says, invade their privacy. What's the worst it can do, invade their privacy, ask them questions that, maybe you might feel a little comfortable asking them, but it's gonna get you what you need to hear. Was that helpful?
Like, what are you paying for in rent now?
Yeah.
And you're just throwing that money away, whereas
Right,
throwing another $500, $800, whatever you need to do.
yeah.
Oh.
Right. Like, there's a lot of parents out there who have grown kids living in their houses, right? Which I understand, I love my kid and I wanna help them as much as I can, I'm like, well, like, how many people in your home have full-time jobs? You guys are only paying 3,000 a month and there's 4 adults working 40+ hours a week. Do you think you guys can afford 1,500 each to calculate a $6,000 payment? Are you guys all own property? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by knowing the loans a little bit. You know what I mean? So that way you can, because what do people want to hear? What's the monthly payment? What's the monthly payment? That's what people want to hear, right? So if you can give them a little bit of that, they're gonna feel like, okay, this guy's not BSing. What are other realtors gonna say? Oh, you gotta bring your 2 years taxes, you gotta come down to my office and meet with my lender, which is great, I know they train that a lot.
But don't you wanna, like, dealing with the buyer, they don't know what they got, like, let's get you in touch with my lender first.
Yeah,
That's how you could gauge how motivated they are.
as well, exactly, if they're not taking the action to do that, then they're also probably not very serious,
Yeah, I would say anybody that's serious, like, okay, you got a good lender, let's.
Right.
Let's make it happen.
Right, but you know what also sucks, Jamie, is you took the time to make the appointment, these people took the time to pull their documents. And they show up and God bless their heart, they work at McDonald's making 40 grand a year. And the dad's on disability and everybody wasted their time, that's also not a great, so I like to ask those qualifying questions over the phone, you know what I mean? Cause yeah, even if they want to or willing to put all those forms together, come down to your office, we call that practice, right? That's great practice for you. But after a while, you're gonna be like, well, that didn't really help anybody, you know what I mean?
So this is not a habit, can I ask a question?
Of course, please.
So I found out, so I told you yesterday that I worked at a restaurant and then some of the customers took my business card and one of them actually were my son's classmates' parents who they transferred to different schools. I didn't see them, but we just recognize each other.
Okay.
And then when they're leaving, I just gave them a card and the husband was like, oh, you're a realtor, like, good question, where do you specialize in? I'm like, oh, he's interested. So I reached out to the mom, the mom, I knew her contact info. And then she was like, yeah, that was nice to meeting you. And like, she was like, yeah, we're hoping that we can buy a house, but it's been pretty rough with all the market going up and up. And they're like, oh, okay, but is that okay if I ask your husband information? And so she gave me, so I contacted him and he gave me the list of like, this is how much we can afford. This is,
Great.
and I was like, oh my gosh, like they're really looking, so
Great.
if I only talk to the wife, I wouldn't think they're just kind of looking, but not, but when I talk to the husband, I knew that,
Right,
oh, they're gonna be my one of the lead.
right.
So I think I have a lot of friends who are wives,
Mhm.
but for your opinion, and now I'm thinking, and they all say like, oh, it'll be nice if we can buy a house in the future,
For
right?
sure.
But in your opinion, do you think I should start asking them their husband's contact information and start kind of like directly talk to the husband? Because I feel like the purchasing decision when it comes to house,
Yeah.
the husband has more power.
Well, I mean, each household is different, right? And then you gotta be a little bit careful asking, can I get your phone?
Right,
phone number,
right, yeah.
Um,
Done a wrong idea.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, and good observation, I think a great way to do that is, when can I get on a three-way call with you and your husband so we can talk about your options? You know, and maybe do it like that, or if you're comfortable enough to just ask for the husband's phone number, that's fine, you know what I mean, but would I go for that directly? You have to read the situation, but you definitely wanna make sure you're always talking to the decision makers. You know, and usually it's the husband and wife together, cause yeah, husband might have the money, but if wife doesn't like the kitchen, you know what I mean,
Right.
then, you know, so I think, yeah, it always comes back to the fundamentals. One of those fundamentals is always talk to the decision makers, you know, so wherever you think
Make
that.
cars.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, if you feel like it's just the husband, so that's happened to me too. I just closed one, or in August in Downey, the wife made all the decisions. I never spoke to the husband once. The wife did everything, you know, so read the situation. But you definitely wanna make sure you're talking to everybody who's gonna be involved in the decision,
Okay.
you know? But going in for the kill, like, I don't wanna talk to you, talk to your husband, I don't think so. you
Yeah,
know?
of course.
Yeah.
I realize a lot of wives are already like, I'm just like not going through that final decision makers filter. They're like, oh yeah, I'll give you the information, like, I will support you 100%.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to a real like decision maker, I realize there's someone else.
Right, no, and then sometimes there's that person, and sometimes there's decision makers that are not even there. Sometimes the husband might have his dad, grandpa, you know, in his ear, or his brother who bought a property 25 years ago, and his in his ear, you know, so. So sometimes the decision makers are not even involved in the transactions, you know, or the influence, right? So yeah, I get what you're saying, good observation, but yeah, just make sure you're talking to everybody who's gonna be involved in the decision making. Yeah, okay, let's move on here to the slides. Ahas to achievement, how has your thinking changed? How do you feel about what was meaningful to you today? Da 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 da. The success system. Is that all the slides? Oh wow, there's not too many slides today, guys.
Alright.
No, well, let's see what else it's got. We're gonna kind of go through it pretty quick. Daily success system, 10 contacts added. Do not call list. Alright, let's get somebody to read this quote. Come on. Somebody,
Engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution and people are happy to be in relationship with me.
yeah. That's true. That's awesome. Okay, and then what's the rest here?
Eric, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please do.
Probably just not sure there's a real answer to this, but since you've been through it all, where at first it was a little slow, like what you told us yesterday, and now you have, leads coming to you. Like, I feel like with, all of these systems that are great, it does seem like before we seriously start reaching out to people, we need to have, a little bit of the website set up.
Mhm.
Know what we're doing with smart plans and, other like emails, right?
Right,
And just kind of have at least a good, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but like a pretty good understanding of what we're gonna do once we have those leads. Before we seriously like rush out there, right? So.
Yeah.
What would you say would be like the good, I'm happy I just figured out my Blink Me card today.
Yeah.
It took 3 weeks, which, actually thought it was just a QR code on the command.
Yeah,
But today, Scott emailed me like, oh, there's a whole actual app
Yeah.
that's Blink Me, and, I heard someone mention it, but it's like, a lot of it is new, right? So
Yeah.
I thought it was some other app, so, like, what would be a good, just a few very basic things that you have set up that, would give you confidence to like, okay, I'll go ahead and send you this information, because like with MLS, I think that's probably a good way to just, if they're looking in a certain area, you could set them up with auto emails through MLS, right?
correct.
And I feel like right now that's pretty much all I have, but I feel like I need a little more, and like what would be the next two things, to.
Yeah. Well, you definitely you're right, you wanna have some kind of grasp of these systems, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Most important one is the MLS. But it's not that hard either, I'm sure by now you can know how to look up properties and the criteria, right? So, know how to use your MLS. Know how to put them on an auto email for buyers. You don't know how to do it?
No.
Do that.
No?
I do not know how to do
Yeah, well, I
that.
can show you, I can show you guys. You got time.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me show you guys, yeah, we got time, guys, I mean, we're done with the slides, but if you guys have any stuff like that, like, I'd rather be talking about stuff like that,
That's good stuff right there.
yeah.
Cause I have it's so interesting, when you were talking about buyers. So I met this lady at an open house and she said, oh, this is too high, do you think that they'll take something less? I said, well, I don't know, maybe, let's see.
The open house guest,
Yes,
Okay.
open house guests, yes, and so I was doing it for someone else, the open house.
okay,
And first she told me she had a realtor, so I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I said, well, you should have her put it in for you.
okay,
Before the week was over, she was calling me, she was like, hey, I came to your open house.
yeah,
I told you I had a realtor, but I don't wanna use her because I wanted to buy a condo in Palos Verdes. This condo was in Palos Verdes that I
Okay.
was doing the open house on. And she said, I was, 650 was my budget. And now everything is like 7s. And so I'm really upset she didn't find it for me, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, fast forward, she wants to put in an offer for 690.
okay,
And I'm like, okay, well, let's try it. I don't know what it was like 7 something. And I said, okay, if you want to. So she said, okay, I'll send you my letter tomorrow, or I'll send you my letter. So I went ahead and sent it to the listing agent, our offer, and without her final letter.
her approval,
Her approval,
Okay.
From the lender. She sent me her financials, so I had her where I had the bank account where the down payment and the earnest money was coming from. So I had that, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm good, So I get it from the financial guy. She's approved for 500,000.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God, not asking the right questions, not wanting
Right.
to ask her, and we talk, but very surface level.
yeah,
And so I learned my lesson, but anyway, so she calls me, so I'm like, this is not a good match for you, let's do something else. So she calls me, she wants to look at this other house. Now, she only wants to stay in PV because her daughter goes to school there. But she calls me with this listing in like Lawndale. I'm like, oh, okay, so we go to Lawndale, look at it, and she's like, well, and I said, well, is this what you want, but your daughter won't be able to go to school in Palos Verdes anymore. And she's like, yeah, I know, I don't know, like she's all over the place.
yeah,
So what do you do with people that are like all over the place like that?
You gotta decide how much time you wanna spend with them, you know?
Okay.
Put them on the auto email and.
Yeah.
You gotta choose what's the best use of your time, right?
Yes.
It could be worth your time to keep chasing it,
Mhm.
or is your time better spent finding a new opportunity? You know what I mean? 500,000 in PV, it's not real.
Well, right now by Portuguese bench, you probably find some really good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. You know, so don't be afraid to have that real conversation with somebody if it means saving you time. Cameron, I know you really wanna be in Palos Verdes, but my lender got you approved for 500,000. And I'm sure you looked around, there's nothing like this for 500,000, so what's your plan B if you can't find something in Palos Verdes for this price? What's your plan B is a great question to ask. What's gonna happen if this doesn't work? And then. And be quiet and see what she says. If she goes, well, no, I mean. Some people are unrealistic. I'm dealing with an unrealistic person right now. I have a listing in Reseda for $1 million. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath. It's hot in Reseda. Like, not the market's hot. Really. And the husband works in Santa Monica, the wife works in Culver City. They're tired of the 405 hike that they gotta take every day, right? They wanna be, they only qualified for $1 million, even after with the proceeds of what they sell, right? They wanna be in Mar Vista, they wanna be in Playa Vista, Marina Del Rey, Culver City. Those houses are $1.5 million, so. I'm like, you guys gotta come down to Lawndale, Hawthorne, Gardena, Carson, you know what I mean? And I make mistakes too, like I was excited about getting the listing. That I didn't set those expectations, it was like, okay, let's figure it out, we'll see what we can find you, I did talk about it surface level. But I didn't quite dig deep, so now the property's on the market. It's sitting there, we're not getting any offers. And they're not too motivated anymore because they realize that there are options out here for what they want to live in. So yeah, you decide how much time you wanna spend on it, I got a couple buyer calls, a few leads out of that. Sure, a listing is always cool to promote yourself, on social media and stuff. Yeah, the people are just unrealistic. And you gotta decide whether you wanna spend time with that. You know what I mean? Find another opportunity,
So, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, so this listing, how long have you been with them?
I got it, it's probably like 60 days on the market now.
Well, that's a long time.
Yeah, no
With
offers.
offers.
There's a little pocket, it's a little pocket in Reseda. There's 10 listings in that pocket and they've all been sitting for like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you think it's a pretty high price also? They list.
No, the house I feel is priced well. It's not priced low, it's priced aggressively, but it's still priced well. It's a nice house, 4-bed, 2-bath, almost 2,000 square feet. They did some of the landscaping work.
Oh, it's gonna be hard for them to come down for that.
Yeah, we were at $1,050,000, and we're at $1 million now. They're gonna net like 250,000. And if they put that all into their next sale, they're still just like at $1 million purchase price, so just that.
Anything.
Yeah, well,
They're all
maybe
expensive.
maybe in Hawthorne,
Lawndale.
Lawndale, Carson, you know what I mean? They'll find something. But
But
they,
they're gonna be in the 405, still they're gonna be on the.
yeah, well, I mean, they're okay, they're okay with even if it's almost similar distance just to get out of the valley. You know what I mean? They wanna get out of the
It's a
valley.
lot cooler by the beach than this.
Exactly, and it's just a better lifestyle around here, so they're cool with that, but they just gotta, I gotta talk to them and see if they're ready to get their head out their butt, you know what I mean, and do something, so.
I've been watching a house by the corner of my house, they put it up, saying 9.5,
Yeah,
way overpriced.
yeah.
This place isn't that, and
I'll
it's about comparable to my house, and it's
I'll
800.
I'll show you guys the property too right now.
Can I ask you another question?
Please do.
The one back to what Karina was saying, I feel like we're still new and we have so much to learn.
Yeah,
Here and there, and then come to the point that should I maybe focus on just buyer agent for Sarah agent only for now, so that at least you know what you're supposed to do as a buyer agent.
Right.
Instead of trying to learn both sides at the same time, I feel like it's a little overwhelming, what do you recommend?
Well, I think just work what, you know, whatever opportunities in front of you, I'm never gonna say turn down a listing, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think naturally, most realtors start with buyers, you know, so yeah, I think your mind's in the right place as far as focusing on buyers, cause that's probably what you're gonna end up running into in the first place, you know, and, but yeah, I mean, if a listing pops up, take it, you
Right.
know, figure it out, yeah, it's kind of one of those things like, you gotta figure it out as you go, you know what I mean? Cause you don't really learn until you got something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's all just theory, you know,
My property's still on the market,
the duplex, right?
yeah, but it's, I had to put it on hold,
Okay,
but it's gonna be, why did I do that?
Yeah, but why do you have to put it on hold?
I had long-term tenants.
Oh.
And, yeah, and so everyone wants it vacant.
Mhm.
So you guys-
But, yeah, but it's gonna be vacant.
okay,
Next time I put it on the market. Yeah, I mean, when it goes back, it'll be vacant.
Oh.
so look at this is the pocket where my listing is,
Wow.
Oh
There's
my
also a
God.
lot of houses around
it's a
there.
buyer's market there.
Yes.
I think it's the heat, I mean, Reseda was like 115.
Where's
That hot
next
last,
to?
that,
Where is that
look,
next
this is the
to?
property, it's a nice house.
Nice. Why don't, have you ever thought about marketing to like this nearby, like hospitals or, you know, people who work in that area? Or I don't know where, but.
See, and I want, like, I get your idea, thank you for
Uh-huh.
sharing that, Cameron. Back to Kiss, right, keeping it simple. When I backtrack to all my listings that have sold. At least 80% of them is from a random a buyer's agent calling me one day saying, hey, I have a buyer, I showed it, they love it and sell it. More than 80% of them. When I honestly genuinely think like. When you do something like that, I passed out 1,000 postcards in the area, like I said, I do. I did get like a text list from my, the title guy, I text blasted the whole neighborhood next door. I think all those things, most of the time are just to help your seller feel like you're doing everything you can to sell the property.
Okay.
You know, again, maybe I'm not giving you guys bad advice, I don't know, I'm just being real, right?
But have
That's
you,
what we want.
yeah, because have you gotten a listing or a buyer from doing that?
No,
Okay, so yeah, that's where you're right.
maybe if you
That's-
call, maybe if you leads. things like
It
that.
is work, but it makes people think you're.
Yeah, like it's a feel like you're doing everything you can, you know what I mean, like this last Thursday, I have the condo listing in Long Beach, right? Every Thursday, they do brokers opens in Long Beach, right? They get, a bunch of realtors get together at the Seal Beach Yacht Club, like 100 realtors there, right? And the listing's been sitting for a while, so I was like, let me show up, let me promote the listing to all these realtors, right? And then you gotta do a brokers open after, so all those realtors can come by. Right, so I did it, showed up, did the brokers, nobody showed up, right? But I texted the seller, I'm like, hey, I texted a picture when I was at that meeting, it was like 100 realtors, I'm like, look, I'm promoting the listing to all these realtors for you. You know, I don't know if you guys saw, I did a video, I don't know if you have me on Instagram, promoting that listing, promoting the area, right? I'll show it to you guys.
I try to get, but they need 2 bedroom, it's a 1 bedroom.
Oh, yeah, you know which one.
Yeah, because I was, cause you talked about it and so somebody I know said that they were looking for a condo.
I did a little video promoting the area, right? That, to be honest, is just, remember we talking about marketing and prospecting yesterday? This is the marketing side, but it serves two purposes, right? Okay, I'm showing people on my social media that I'm active, I have a Long Beach listing. And I'm also showing my seller that I'm doing everything I can to get the property, so, you know, but when I backtrack, real. More than 80% of my listings is like, I get a random call from a buyer's agent one day, says, I got a buyer, I wanna show it, they love it, let's sell it. Most of the time, you know, sure, sometimes you can finesse a sale in there somewhere, be real creative, you know, but that's my experience, another realtor might tell you different.
What's your Instagram?
I am, the letter I am, Erick Claudio. But let me see, I was gonna show you guys how to do the auto email, okay? So you're gonna go, you guys know how to do a search, right, Cameron?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do a search residential, right? We're going coming soon active. I always do the coming soon. Single family, let's say Torrance. Right, so 1.2 and under. Okay. Um. 3+, 2+, right? You put your criteria. Then you go to results. It's just a little laggy. Okay. Then you go save. New auto email. And then you gotta create a contact if you don't have one. Contact or create the contact.
Okay.
And then you could put a BCC, a copy of my all emails. If you wanna get notified when it sends it out. It'll send it to you. You pick a subject line. You have your little email signature and then you can pick the frequency.
Okay.
ASAP, every day, every other day, you know? So here's where I make some decisions, like if I talk to a buyer and like. They sound like they're ready in the next 30, 60 days, I'm every day,
Mhm.
you know, like, no, Eric, 6 months, maybe 6 months from now, I'll do twice a week, you know? I like to do Fridays, cause that's when they'll see like if there's an open house that weekend, type of stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
no, about I was done,
Does ASAP mean that as soon as another realtor puts in the property, that's when you get the new property?
correct,
Okay.
correct,
That's kind, I kind of tested that with just sending it to myself.
Yep.
That's what it seemed like, and I really like that.
yeah, exactly.
Just save and then auto, okay, new auto email, or just bottom line.
Yeah, so you put your criteria, you go to results, save, new auto email. And you gotta just go through this little part here. See, so like, this is well, it's not free, right? We all pay for the MLS, this is what comes with your MLS. Like, I'll show you guys how I do it in Real Scout.
What's real still?
It's the system I use that I've been,
So our leads can see that for free, even though
I'm sorry?
pay for the MLS.
No, they don't see everything, they just, what you're doing here is setting up for them to get an email from you with properties.
Uh-huh.
They don't see this, they just see properties in their email from you,
The one that,
Yeah, they just see the listings that are coming up.
correct?
Comes under one home, right? So
Right, the system is one home, right?
there's, there's no way to just have them see like the actual, just some the Excel sheet, but what we're seeing, is there a way to like have it all at once? It's the only way I see it so far is under one home as a recipient.
Right, no, it's pretty much just the way you said it, it looks like this, like if I can show you guys how it looks. Share link. Generate. Copy.
Before I had my license, the realtors I used, whatever link they sent me was like, it seemed like it was what we're seeing. So I was wondering if that's just not done anymore.
This is how it looks when you send it to a buyer, right? You see that, they changed it recently.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it used to be real clanky and funky and weird, they cleaned it up, it looks better now. But this is what your buyer sees on their side. So it's gotten a lot better. It used to be super janky and weird, like not even that long ago, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But
So this is different. This is that scout?
no,
Oh, okay.
this is the MLS one I'm still showing you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll show you guys how Real Scout looks.
So one home, and then as soon as there's new property. But then if you go to our scanning, it shows, you know, those two were the new ones. It's the one just went in, but if they go to.
But then it goes to
Then it goes to the entire house.
Oh.
Is real still like the MLS or is it?
Well, it's connected to your MLS,
Oh, okay.
how do I go to my passwords? I don't know my password. Passwords, hey there. Real Scouts. So you guys, I mean, so that's kind of like what Karina was asking earlier, like what system should we have a grasp on? MLS and your mortgage calculator. You know how to use the mortgage calculator?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I usually just use bankrate.com, but is there one that is
I-
better?
I like the Fidelity one,
Okay,
Fidelity Agent One, this one,
okay.
that's the one I like to use.
That's
Where's
for
that?
the mortgage one?
This is like your mortgage calculator, right?
Okay.
Is it just from Fidelity app?
Yeah, I think you have to ask, who set me up? Javi or no, Steve Carollo, you guys know Steve Carollo, is one of the title guys.
Okay, yeah, there.
Yeah,
I don't know him, but another title rep was saying, remember there's mortgage calculators and.
yeah, that's the way I do it, so, yeah, I mean, buyers love it when I'm in the property with them, showing their property, I'm like, yeah, your payment's gonna be around X amount for this property. And it's actually pretty accurate most of the time, you know, as long as they have like, you know, what really changes like the interest rate, if you don't know their interest rate. You give them the benefit of the doubt, give them a low rate so they get excited. It's all sales, guys. Has anybody done sales before real estate? Yeah, okay. So, you know. You gotta get people excited. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys, I don't know my password.
The signing, okay.
But I tried to tell you guys yesterday, like it just gives you this cool feed of the property of who's looking at what. And then when you see the property, it looks like a red fence. You know,
But that's it,
And those are your people that you put in to see what they're looking or.
Correct.
Okay,
this is
okay.
like my activity feed, and that's the thing that MLS doesn't do, it doesn't give you a feed like this.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't show you like who's still looking, it'll show you how many times they look at it. If they open the email,
Sorry, that's the real.
that's real stuff, yeah.
But so I'm supposed to explain, but so you know, one of it seems like. That one of the links in the besides family, I send it to myself, to my personal account, just to say, okay, what am I dealing with?
Right.
And when I click on it, you know, I went back to my MLS and under contacts and my saved searches. It did show that I clicked on this house at like 6:07 p.m.
It does have a feed?
So I thought.
Oh, cool.
It seems like it's
See.
recording my clicks.
Good, I didn't even know that.
But again, I just started playing with it, so.
Let me see.
I don't know how it.
Auto emails, see, I don't even have anybody on it anymore, so you're probably right, I just haven't even used this in a long time.
See where it says, portal visit.
Ah, gotcha,
So when I did click on it, it showed the time.
gotcha.
So then
Gotcha.
today I'm gonna log in and see to show the date and time, like from yesterday, or
Yeah.
like how much more information.
Yeah,
But this is totally different from command, right? Like, okay, do we keep two separate systems or?
and that's where I feel like the real estate industry and the space is so. Like convoluted and oversold sometimes, you know what I mean, like. This whole idea of. Automated stuff and like there's so many softwares, right, and systems. Just use the ones that feel simple for you, you know, like it's hard enough. To learn the business. To learn like the loans and the buyers and learning how to do a real estate deal. Like you probably feel that almost all this tech stuff is like someone else's job, like it's another full-time job, right, figuring out all the tech stuff, right? Like, so just keep the tech part as simple as possible. You know, and this is coming from somebody that spent years trying to like be over the top with it, you know? So it's just keep it simple, if you feel that this one works better for you than command, then just keep this one, you know? If you feel like you like the command one more, do the command one more.
I have a question. So, I'm a referral agent right now, so I don't have access to the MLS.
Okay.
But I am learning about investments right now, and I took Brendan's class last year, so I'm.
Okay.
All of that, I'm going through the book, and, I can call people and I can ask them to connect with them. Like, if I wanted to show them a property and I don't have an MLS, do you recommend that I go to LoopNet, or which site out there do you recommend that I look into, not to show them the property, because that's something the agent was gonna do, but just to kind of keep myself immersed with like what's going out there with the investments? What do you recommend? Cause right, I'm gonna get the MLS, but not until next year, so I'm just kind of trying to keep myself up to date right now with the stuff that's going on.
What's your hesitation about getting into next year?
Well, the thing, one of them is finances. I have a lot of bills and I am starting another company right now, so it's just one of the major things is finances. The other thing was that I was starting my other company, so I was working only part-time, so I wasn't gonna immerse myself in it, so it's just kind of like the timing.
Okay.
Finance.
Well, the best thing is always the MLS, right? But if you don't have access to the MLS, LoopNet is only commercial.
Okay, so that's only like office buildings, retail, and like,
Specialty stuff, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, outside of that, then there's Zillow, there's Redfin, there's homes.com.
Okay, so,
Realtor.com.
okay, so I can, okay, so do you think that's, cause it's tied, isn't it? It's tied.
Yeah,
to the
everything that goes on
MLS.
the MLS feeds down into those systems.
Even the fixer uppers and even all those properties that could be potential investments.
As long as it goes on the MLS, it will feed into those.
Okay,
systems.
okay, that's good, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Do you have command? Does she have command?
Oh, do I have command? Yeah, I
Yeah.
have command.
You can use command in the same
What
way.
is command here? What does it have?
It's got pretty much everything. It'll send you alerts. You can tell it to find you. Price per square foot.
Oh, you mean the
certain
app?
neighborhood.
The command, the app, the color, what
Yeah,
is
the
it?
command, the
Okay, the app.
It's got like every kind of search that you could do, plus you could program it to give you the information.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
And then you can search what you're looking for
Okay.
without having the allowance.
But
There you go.
But it has all the access, all the information that's in there.
Okay,
Okay,
good to know, I didn't know that.
thanks, yeah,
I like the hat, man.
Thanks.
yeah, okay, go, for sure.
But yeah, guys, anything else you guys want me to go over, maybe with the MLS and stuff? Questions? The key is just talk to people all the time, you know? If you go back at the end of the day and your call log on your phone is like, if you can still see the call you made at 7 a.m. to your cousin, to your son, and it's 5 p.m., like that's not what you want, you know? You wanna be able to scroll through your call log and like you were on the phone all day.
Wait,
nonstop.
can you repeat that? I didn't get it.
That if you go on your call log,
Uh-huh.
you go on your call log on your phone,
Mhm.
and you can see. Like, you know how you can only see like, if you only did a few calls, it's only like 3,
Mhm.
you can see the call you made this morning, your mom,
Yeah,
that's not what you want. You wanna be on the phone all day, see like my stuff, I've been on the phone all day. All day, all the way back to. See, all day. So at 9 a.m. this morning was my first call, and these are all calls that I've done today. So that's what you want.
you're gonna be on the phone all.
Be on the phone all the time.
With your new listing that you have today, the leases, do you have a budget for the marketing?
I don't have like a set budget. I know that the photography is gonna cost me like $300. If I wanna do a drone shot, it'd be another like $50 with my photographer. I don't have a set budget. Honestly, I kind of just go and spend whatever I think I have to spend to make it happen. Yeah, I don't go like, oh, I only have $300 for this. Like, I just go. You know, I don't think about it too much, you know? But yeah.
Are you offering any commissions to if somebody finds?
Yeah, you know what? I have to ask Simon about how the NER in commercial and see if that settlement plays into commercial. But yeah, I mean, she'll offer a 3% if you have a tenant. 3% of the lease term, so it's pretty nice when you get a 5-year lease term, you make a pretty good decent check.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
So you're looking for a brewery or?
a brewery would be great, but it's mostly like anything that fits the aesthetic of the building they're trying to do. Like right now, there's a coffee shop, they're building a new coffee shop. There was a paint and sit business on the end, Mr. Fry's man is on the corner. So, and then they're creating a open courtyard on the outside. They wanna put like, you know, lights and have little shows there and things like that. So anything that fits that kind of aesthetic. a nice little trendy retail store. They had a candle store there before, like some lady had, made custom candles. Just like something that's vibes, you know what I mean? Just cool vibes, that kind of thing. I don't know, in my head, cool vibe explains a lot, but I don't know. I don't know if that, I don't know how well that translates, just vibes, you know what I mean?
They were supposed to build a, tennis shoe, like that high-end tennis shoe store. So, like at the end where Mr. Fry's is, it's straight down that little street.
Okay,
So they've been working on that building forever.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, see, like, there's a lot of people on Market Street, right? Like that, a lot of little dead businesses there that
Yeah.
maybe they wanna refresh or something. But yeah, I was thinking about that too, like a shoe reseller, like, right now thrifting, like resale thrifting is a big thing, so. Stuff like that, yeah. If you guys know anybody, I'll probably get on the market in like the next 2 weeks. I just gotta do the photography, I wanna do a floor plan. And things like that to get it going, but. So pretty much just talk, it took me 8 years to get to this point, guys, so that's why, yeah, I mean, and it's only been pretty solid, like. A well-oiled machine for the past maybe half of that, like, 3.5 years ago is when I started, like, okay, things are flowing
It's
pretty
a
well.
long game.
It's a long game, it's a
So
marathon,
we gotta jump right in and make money, you gotta
Yeah.
know coming in and don't quit your day job.
exactly,
You
And I-
start building it, and then as it starts coming,
yeah, and that's what my dad told me coming in and I didn't listen, you know what I mean? So I was
I
like,
watched a lot of videos from real estate agents who were like, look, I thought I was gonna make money right away and.
Yeah.
I spent thousands, and I haven't paid anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
right,
okay, you need to know that there's.
yeah, still
pros
gotta
and
eat,
cons, it's, when it comes, it's good.
Exactly.
In between, it's,
exactly.
feast or famine, as they say.
Yeah, and I've had, even I had rough patches. I remember this February, March. I was like, holy crap, those numbers are getting low, no escrows open, no listings, what's going on?
You gotta remember, you're responsible for your own taxes.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
cousin, when he first started getting sales, he just started
Spending.
spending money.
Yep,
Tax time, he ran up like, $30,000.
yep.
Oh, wow.
Put that separate bank account, open up that separate bank account, put 20% at least in there. And just,
Each
you know,
sale.
20% of
each
each sale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're, see you later, Eric.
Thank you for the class.
If you're smart, I mean, you can get away with, doing something, but no, I mean, yeah, I mean, you gotta pay taxes.
Yeah, so I have a triplex, now, but again, it's fully occupied,
A listing?
yeah,
Cool, where is it?
in Long Beach.
Long Beach?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You have any investors that need offers like today?
Oh, you told me about it. That's right, you told me about it last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like now.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
fine.
750, I mean,
I'm not sale, I'm joking, like, I'm not able to do that
Yeah.
because. Yeah, I'm not, if you were just someone on the street, no, I'm
Yeah.
not able to
But
do
if
that.
Eric is in business, it's exactly.
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, I mean, it's just rough, cause people want like vacant, and if you're selling it occupied, you just gotta make sure the sales price reflects that. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah,
those,
and the sellers, they don't understand that.
Yeah, and they never do,
the tenants of the restaurant up to.
They're almost to market, they're not at market.
Right,
You know, but it's more like a couple hundred, not 1,000, like my.
Yeah.
Like 1,015,
Yeah.
Like having the tenants in is better than this.
You said what?
Having the tenants in, that like they can secrets.
No,
If it's
no.
out to the market.
Well, I don't know, what do you think, Eric?
Well, it depends on the scope of the buyer, right? And
Oh.
and who's buying it. Who's really
Oh.
buying
I've
it.
been there. You got
Right.
tenants that have been on time with their rent. You've upped your rent every year. I work for people that, they don't raise their rent.
Yeah,
They don't have a lot of vacancies.
yeah,
People get in there, they don't move out, or if they do, they will rent it out for one of their friends or something.
right,
So my customer never even tries to rent. It's just, they'll say,
right.
yeah, I don't paint here a lot, but when I do,
Yeah, I think a conversation you have to have with your sellers, Cameron, is, okay, do you understand that by selling the property with tenants, we're limiting our buyer pool to investors who are okay with that? If, you know, if we're able to talk with one of the tenants and say, look, if somebody comes in and wants to move in here, a family wants to buy this to move in here. You know, are you okay with vacating? That's gonna be the new owner moving in, and you get a yes, you get a positive response from that, that opens up your buyer pool to families or somebody who, is there a big unit? You said there's a big unit.
It's a 2 bedroom, 1 bath,
Yeah.
but. So the whole problem is, it's so funny because both sellers have the same mindset of, they've been here a long time and. It's, they're like people I know and, so I think. It's a different mindset. These are like family landlords, these are landlords that not. They don't own tons of property, they own a couple of
Yeah.
units and. They know their tenants, they know their lives and I think that's where it gets difficult.
And that's okay,
Yeah.
just say like, that's okay, I understand, but just understand, Mr. Seller, that we're limiting our buyer pool to investors who are gonna wanna take the tenants,
Sometimes getting your tenants out can be very,
Yeah,
cost you a lot of money.
exactly, and so what do you prefer to deal with? I mean, there's a give and take in all situations, you can't win them all, right? You wanna have a buyer come in and buy the property that's a savvy shark investor that's gonna, do what they gotta do with the price and negotiate. Or do you wanna have, and that's uncomfortable, right? Or do you wanna have an uncomfortable conversation with the tenants? So that way you deal with an easier buyer, you know what I mean, that's not gonna be as sharky or willing to pay more, and people who are gonna live at a property are willing to pay more. Cause they're gonna get to enjoy the property, when it's an investment, it's just the numbers, you know what I mean? And properties in California right now. Like rental properties, like, you're lucky to break even, if you're putting 20% down, I mean, unless you're putting like 50 or more than that down, and you're letting your cash flow a little bit.
That's what I was able to explain to my first seller, cause I gave her, I put in the calculator, I said, hey, so if they're paying this amount and, this is what their monthly note would look like. And she's like, oh, wow, cause she could see that it wouldn't cover what her tenants are paying, it doesn't cover
Yeah,
their mortgage, so why would they buy it,
right.
So she completely understood.
Yeah, putting yourself in the shoes of the buyer, putting your shoe, if you were to buy this property, what would you think, what would you do, how would it work out for you,
Yes, and
Yeah.
so that was very helpful for me dealing with her, cause then she went on to do cash for keys for the first unit.
There you go.
And was planning to do cash for keys for the second one, but the second one died. The tenant two, he died.
Wow,
So it's now, he has 20 years of stuff, over 20 years of stuff, and his children are not following through, so she's going to give them a certain amount of time to get his belongings out.
so you might have both units vacant.
Yes.
Oh, see,
Well,
that's that's a switch up.
Right, and so it's not her spending 50,000 anymore, I mean, she's probably gonna have to spend some money to get the stuff out now, once.
Clean it up,
Yeah, once cause they're gonna come in and trash it and just leave whatever they want, and so I was over there cleaning up the first unit, and so I was like, yeah, this is the life of a realtor.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning and just
Yeah.
cleaning off the walls and.
I remember I listed a property in LA on near Alameda and shoot, I forgot the cross street. Close to Alameda and Florence, around there. And the owner passed away from COVID. And the house was empty for like 6 months. I guess he had a wife that moved away. And the owner was in New York, the son who was the co-owner, and he told me, Eric, just break the lock, like just go ahead and freaking break it up. So I did. I showed up there and he had fish tanks like this
Oh,
big.
God.
With dead fish.
Oh,
Right? And he had like 4 of them, like 2 in the living room and 2 in the master, all kinds of other stuff, roaches, that, you know what I mean?
dicks and under your
It was bad, it was bad, yeah, he like having exotic animals, he had peacocks in the back.
Oh,
So there was, no, they weren't there, somebody took them, thankfully. But there was a bunch of like bird cages with bird poop and smell, like, leaking up, it was gross. So yeah, me and my fiance spent like a weekend there, just cleaning it out.
This was a listing, this was a listing.
Listing.
Oh, well, yeah, you were like scrubbing, that's what I was doing, I was scrubbing, I was like.
7%.
I go over 5%.
I started at 7%, I did 4, I give buyers, I did 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy, cause the guy was in New York, and he didn't wanna spend the money, I'm like, bro, it was gonna cost him like $2,500 for somebody to come and move and to clean, right? He was like, oh, I don't wanna do it, and it was hesitating the sale, I said, alright, man, I'll put my elbow grease in there, you know? So me and my fiance went, you know?
Wow,
So-
you got a girl to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real one.
Yeah, it's called, that's his wife
Yeah.
now. She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is.
Down with the-
Now.
Guess what, she's doing the money too, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think,
See you doing. Yeah, guys, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Where are you getting these listings from?
People I know, it
There
just
you
so,
go.
it's, I would never have, like this triplex. I just never would have thought, and it was kind of just like a conversation. And, the wife was looking for an appraiser. Because the husband was getting, when you were talking about those flyers that say cash, your house for cash or whatever. So he called those people. And she was mad about it, cause first she didn't know the financial situation they were in. And, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, anyway, she didn't know what was going on. And, so, she was like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. You know, you're just running to get whatever it's sold. But they are going to eventually go into foreclosure, you know? So it's either they get out with some money or they don't, you know?
Yeah,
So when she called, I gave her some appraisers' names and everything. And what she wanted, they wouldn't do. And, so she's like, okay, so I just, can you do it, right? So he said, okay, if you wanna take care of it, that's what he told his wife, you take care of it. So she called me, she was like, hey, I wanna list this, do you know anybody that'll buy it? I was like, I can find people. I said, no problem, I can list it, and she wanted it on the MLS.
there you go.
That's where she wanted it. So some investors don't like that, they want off the market, so that's what I found too. So I had an agent call me like, oh, you listed it. I said I had to, my client said that they wanted it listed. It was gonna be off the market, but the client said I wanted it listed, so I had to do that. And so they were mad, I was like, okay, whatever. But he still wants to deal with that person.
Okay,
That guy and I said, my fear, because he's driving the price up. And that looks to the husband, that's like, ooh, I want that. But my concern is, he's not gonna do what he says.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do what he says. he's
not
gonna
gonna close.
Nothing
Right.
close, like he said the price was $760, he sent them a offer that, and he didn't read it. I said, hey, this says it needs to be vacant. Fully vacant. So once you sign that offer, you're stuck with
Mhm.
this guy.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so we went back and forth, he understands a lot more, he thinks he's savvy and negotiating and all this other stuff. And I said, I know you're a great negotiator, cause that's what he did for a living, he worked for an insurance, and he was like, a big exec. And, you know, he's retired now, but this is not what you do.
Yeah,
This is your, like, your property, yours, and it's harder to see it in a business sense
Mhm.
sometimes. And so I talked to him for like an hour on Sunday about the property and what does it mean for a fully, coming in all occupied, and it needs a lot of work.
yeah, yeah.
It needs a lot of work.
Yeah,
So-
no, well, good on you for having those conversations. I think when you break it down, the options are usually pretty simple, you know, like take a lower cash offer, you know, it's gonna be a lower price,
Mhm,
but you know, close soon. And then you just gotta make sure you protect them on the contract,
mhm.
you know, buying as is, delivered with tenants. You know, those cash buyers are always a little sharky, you know what I mean? So something you could do is request them to put a really big earnest money deposit, you know,
Okay,
like.
more than 3%.
Yeah, it could be whatever you want,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah,
I
like,
didn't realize that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like right now, like I'm negotiating a vacant lot in LA.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was gonna go in escrow on Friday and it hasn't gone into escrow yet. But they're trying to buy it for 75,000. It's listed at 99,000. And the owner's like, okay, I'll do 75, you're supposed to get it done. But I told the buyer, I'm like, you have to put the full 75,000 as a deposit. I need, so yeah, I need you to see that money leave your account. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
Yes.
And he still has this contingency period, he can still cancel and get the money back,
okay.
but I wanted him to be tied up and say like, you know, I want him to see that money leave the account. You know what I mean? So, you know, you just protect, you do little things like that. Were you here at Brandon's house on Friday, last Friday?
I did Thursday at Coastal.
Okay, see, so like all those, like, when you fill out an offer,
Uh-huh.
they're like, have you guys all filled out an offer yet?
Nope,
No? Okay, you have already, right, Cameron? Oh, shoot, let's
we're all
see.
new.
Yeah, right. Let me see.
Just thrown in it, like from day one,
We're
so.
not jealous.
No, but it's really
We're gonna learn
hard,
from you.
it's hard when you don't know something, and so I feel like I'm constantly backpedaling. Because I feel like, you know, because it's easier to learn something than do it, than to learn as you go. And you're like, what is this? And oh my God, and I've learned a lot, but
You said that, you gotta pay to make it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
That's how you learn.
You're getting real experience, Cameron, that's what's
Yeah,
cool.
you're getting,
Let me show you guys the contract so you guys can see.
It's like, what is my password? I know, I hate those.
Shit.
I know.
I never, yes, I keep them in my phone.
Yes.
I was saying, your device holds all your passwords.
Yes.
I alternate the same like 3 passwords, yeah. So if I'm gonna go like, so if I'm gonna like log into something like right now, like it's one of the 3 passwords. So Yuki, Karina and Jamie, you guys have not seen a purchase contract?
No.
No.
3 weeks into this.
Okay, let's show it. I'll be the first one. I feel happy that I get to be the first one to show you. Well, you know, you have access to all the contracts, right? So like this is a property I have in escrow now. And then this is the purchase contract. So let me backtrack for a second, okay? When you log into the system, right, you end up here. Okay, if you're gonna do an offer for a property, you go new purchase offer, then you go through all these little things, right? Kind of property it is, the address, residential, right?
Mhm.
Now, once you have all that, it becomes a little box. And then here's where you have like, you go straight to your documents. And then these are all the forms, right? And there's so many forms. But you only need a few of them. Where's the California Residential Purchase Agreement? Okay, so this is the contract, the offer contract. This is for a regular residential purchase, right? So you gotta fill out all the information, the buyer's information, and usually, and when you fill it out here, it propagates to the rest of the contract. So you just fill out the buyer's name once and it'll fill it out the rest of the way. So the way I explain it to people is, and this is the offer package. The offer package has different forms inside of that package, right? Like you guys see here, this is the disclosure regarding real estate agency, page 1, page 2 of 2, right? And then now this is the actual offer form, right? So here's where you fill out all this stuff. Like buyer's name, property address, date prepared, who are the agents, who's representing who. And then this is where you start putting the offer price, close of escrow, expiration of the offer. So sometimes what I've done is, like if I feel like I'm submitting a strong offer and the agent is telling me that they're waiting for another offer that another agent might send in a couple of days, I'll have my offer expire in 24 hours. So I'll be like, I'm submitting you a strong offer, but you gotta accept in the next 24 hours. So right here, you can, like, so what I meant by what I was trying to say with earlier with Cameron is like, there's all these little things on the contract that you can change to help you stand out, you know, or just protect your client, right? So here's the deposit amount. So, you know, you can make that, if they have all the cash, make it the full cash. You know, all the cash you're buying, make it the whole thing. Loan amount, right? You could do additional finance amount. So some of the stuff starts getting sometimes a little complicated. Seller credit. So, you know, I got $20,000 seller credit on this one. You guys always got to make sure to click this one. This one gives you it propagates the form where it's gonna align the buyer's agent commission. So you guys you really make sure, never forget that one.
G3?
G3.
Yeah, always click that one. So that's your commission. Right?
Everybody writes that one down.
Yeah, yeah. That used to not be there.
Oh, okay.
That's a new thing from the NAR settlement. So yeah, you guys see all these little freaking things you guys can look into, that it can help you stand out. You know what I mean? So this is just the offer contract, and it's gonna change. It always changes. This looks different from when I first got into business. You know, what else can you do here? Time of possession, you know, like here, right here, I said seller occupied for vacant units. Oh,
You broke it.
No, it's that side, it's messed up or something.
yeah, like this one, see, I put, give the seller 7 days after close of escrow to move out.
Oh, okay.
You know, the seller's been there forever.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, it's gonna feel nice to them if we give them 7 days after close of escrow to move out at no cost, you know? So, yeah,
Is it often where, it's usually agents talk to each other before they submit offers, right? Is it like 50-50 that sometimes you find something in the written contract that you didn't expect?
yeah, sure. I mean, I, you know, you could talk to an agent, hey, we're gonna submit this and this. You know, and then you look at the contract and they put something else, you know, they change your mind last minute. You know,
Without like any verbal explanation, just kind of.
yeah, sometimes it doesn't go down that way. I mean, it's a little, yeah, it's a little better when they call you or you call them and say, hey, actually, you know, we're gonna change this. But it might not always happen that way, you know? Yeah, so you obviously have to just make sure the contract reflects what you guys talked about, you know? But see, there's a tenant occupied property addendum. See, like, there's all these little things. You want to pressure the seller delivery of documents 7 days after acceptance, make it 24 hours, you know, if you want to press the seller for whatever reason. You know? So there's all this stuff, you know, all the inclusions and exclusions. So you guys want the stove and the fridge. It happened to me, this one, like I'll submit the offer and I ask for the stove, the fridge, dishwasher and stuff. And then I get close to closing escrow, the listing agent didn't like verify that or talk about that with the seller, like, hey, by the way, you gotta leave your appliances. And then it becomes a dilemma. It's became a dilemma for me. Like, it's like, oh shoot, we didn't realize we have to leave it, you know? I'm like, well, my buyer's expecting the fridge to stay there. You guys agreed to it on the contract, you know? And it's happened to me where they had already taken it. So they just gave me like a $3,000 credit so they can buy stuff, you know, so. All this little stuff, guys, you know,
So when someone's on the contingency, they say the loan in 7 days and the property investigation 7 days. Is that okay? Cause it's on them, right?
for what, buyer or seller?
For on the buyer, when the buyer submits the offer and they say that those days is. The buyer has to investigate the property within 7 days, isn't that?
Correct,
Okay.
correct, that, their
Okay.
physical investigations, checking permits with the city, that type of stuff.
But that's the buyer, that's not anything I have to do within 7 days.
Well, everybody has responsibilities in the transaction, right? If part of the buyer's investigations are the seller disclosures. So you gotta provide your seller disclosures to the buyer. And like right now, this property actually, they want us to remove the inspection contingency, right? We're past their period. But they haven't sent me the seller disclosures.
Oh.
The seller disclosures have a questionnaire filled out by the seller saying XYZ, they know XYZ things about the property, the condition, things like that. They're disclosing to you what they know about the property. So I'm like, I'm not gonna remove the inspection contingency until you send me that package, you know? So I don't know what the delay is on their side,
Mhm.
but I've gone through whole transactions without removing a contingency. Cause the listing side wasn't doing what they were supposed to do.
Okay.
So we got all the way to closing. And they're pressing to remove contingencies, but they haven't taken care of what they're supposed to be taking care
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that means you could still cancel, right, if something is off.
of. Yeah, well, we're both in breach of contract at that point, you know? But sometimes you gotta play little games with people, you know what I mean? But yeah. Kind of the idea. But yeah, see, like escrow fees, like, how do you stand out in your offer? Making sure all this stuff's transfer taxes, like Redondo Beach has a transfer tax, the city of Redondo Beach. You guys gotta make sure that you split that, things like that, so. It's all, you can even add other stuff like transaction coordinator. Like, I have my buyers pay like TC. You got a buyer pay TC.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're working with investors, is it the same purchase contract that you're using or is it a different one?
It
Is
is-
it always, no matter if you're buying or selling properties at all, are they always the same contracts?
Well, yes, but it changes on the type of property. So this is for residential. There's a different one for multifamily, for duplexes and triplexes. There's a different one for vacant land.
What about if it's the same one, what if it's a single family residence,
Yeah.
then you would use this?
Yeah, the regular residential.
Even if it's for investment,
Correct,
okay.
correct, yeah. I mean, but you gotta understand the forms, cause like even if it's a regular house, an investment, but it's in probate, you have to add the probate form.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, so that, you just gotta make sure you're adding the proper forms, yeah. But yeah, there's, a lot of stuff on the contract that you can go over. But, anything else, guys, you guys wanna ask me? We kinda ended up staying till the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything else, I mean, we still got time.
I have a question with I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, that's fine.
With the seller disclosure
Yeah.
for multifamily, that's called the TOPA, right?
Tenant occupied, property addendum.
Addendum.
That's part of it, but that's part of it, but the disclosure package is a lot of stuff.
Okay, so that's part, so they have to, it's the same kind of disclosure package,
Yeah,
but
it's part of that package.
okay.
Right,
okay.
right, but along with that, you have all the standard ones like the SBSA, the MCA, the wire fraud advisory. There's like all the standard ones. And then there's the ones that you add specifically for that property or that scenario.
Okay.
In this one, you have tenants, so you have to add that tenant occupied
Yeah,
proposal property addendum. So it all depends on the situation, but yeah, the most important ones are the SPQ and the TDS. Those are the ones that the seller fills out when they put like I had a deal in Long Beach where there was unpermitted space on the property. The seller didn't put that on their forms. I, as a rookie realtor, did not check. and missed it, and the listing agent missed it. So although the buyer had removed their contingencies, the buyer said, no, I still want to cancel because you guys didn't write on the form that was unpermitted space. So they were able to hold on to themselves from that. Thank you.
Didn't need to do that, you guys, sorry.
Uh-oh. Hi.
That's great, I'm sorry, I mean, your class.
Yeah. But so yeah, you know, the disclosure package has a million forms. You just gotta add the proper ones to your transaction,
Okay.
you know? Yeah. Anything else, guys? Anything at all regarding real estate? This is my last Ignite, you know? No,
You're only
Never
doing
say
two?
never.
I'm only doing two, man. Yeah, I'm doing my role play class tomorrow, though. You guys wanna come to the role play? Yeah, tomorrow, every Wednesday at 11, I'm doing role play.
You assume that, or that's just?
I don't Zoom it, only live, baby. Gotta be here
We did every.
every week at 11.
I have to be at the orientation. and then-
Yeah,
So
it's all good. Do what you gotta do. And that one I put, you know, you get put on blast. We're gonna practice the sales skills. You know, we're gonna do live cold calls. And you might be even able to get a listing on the spot, you know, if somebody answers the phone and you're ready to talk to them, you know? Yeah, like last time I did that role play, we did the live cold calls. I got like an investor who had a property, I don't know where. And I haven't called him. I should probably call him. You know, so a lot of different stuff, guys. Real estate is a beast, you know? So don't beat yourself up if you don't learn it all in a month or a year, you know? I'm 8 years in and I'm still figuring it out, you know? So don't beat yourself up. Make sure you can pay your bills. Anything else? We're good?
Oh.
Make sure you pay your bills. Make sure you have a